morning, good afternoon, good evening, bienvenue. Wherever we find you, welcome to New Sounds Union, the podcast. If you're new to these parts, then all you need to know is that every episode we speak to an emerging or independent artist about their creative work, their stress levels, and the simple joys of doing it yourself. This month, we speak to folk rock five-piece Bojockey about their recent live album, their creative process, and how they're approaching festival season. Before all of that, though, here are some of our favourites that we featured on New Sounds Union in the last few weeks. First up is the wonderfully dulcet tones and poetic wordplay of Gabriel Moreno and his single, Castles. If you like this, his new record is called Nights in the Belly of Bohemia. Here we go.
Take this pen and take this shield to slay the beast of stagnation. I have no castles to defend, but take the engines of my imagination. Take the engines of my imagination.
Next is O Voyage and a little Anatolian psychedelia in the form of Panda. Bringing together modern electronica with Middle Eastern instruments, this is absolutely delicious and sounds a bit like this. If you'd like to listen to more of our fresh track recommendations, then you will find everything, including more interviews and podcasts at newsoundsunion.substack.com. Okay, so the time has come. It's the main event, our chat with the lovely guys from Bojockey, an indie folk five-piece from London who create a warm ambient sound with strong melodies and killer vocals. First, let's hear a snippet from their recent live album at St. Pancras Old Church. This is Make a Maid.
And we all lost something along the way. 'Cause I remember all these things that buried with a stranger. Oh, that'll keep safe.
Hello guys, thank you very much for joining New Sounds Union, the podcast. So we've got Sam, Helena and Remy here today from Bojockey. If you wouldn't mind, first of all, for the listener, introducing yourself, maybe saying what you do in the band, that would be really lovely.
Sam, it's you first, my guy.
Yeah, I do. See, I'm Bullet. I'm Sam. I play guitar and I sing as well.
Sam is the lead singer for those listening. I'm Hells. Sam hates being in the limelight. That's what we're going to do him dirty today. No, I'm Hells. I'm the bassist in the band and I provide backing vocals as well.
Lovely stuff.
And I'm Remy. I play the drums for Bojockey and I do some backing vocals as well.
Nice. All right. So we've got a good mix of the band. And then, yeah, you've got two more guys as well. As we're talking names and introductions, Bojockey, where did that come from as a name? It's a great name. I like it.
When I was writing my dissertation, I found this book called Narcotics, Lingo and Law. And one of the names in it was Bojockey, which was a slang term for a stoner from like the 1930s. And I thought it was really funny. And so I just removed a bow and we went with Bojockey.
And there we go. Nice.
There we go. All academic, I promise. All academic.
Of course, yeah. So quite a broad question to kind of start with, but kind of what are your, collectively, individually, your first memories of music, maybe your first musical loves, if you can recall any?
Wow, that's loaded. Who wants to start there? Jeez.
It is.
I mean, I can
That's a big
start.
one.
I can start. I don't know about musical love, but I had a music education mostly in the sense that it was more orientated toward the conservatory, so very classic in a way.
Mm.
And I was like, I first learned before learning drums, I learned percussions. So I was basically playing in orchestras, and I think this is probably one of the things I try to channel sometimes a little bit with Bojockey in the sense that more than playing drums, having a bit more like a percussion approach, and so not just playing the snare, but sometimes trying to figure out how to play around that and bringing a bit of a different sound. But yeah, it's a very, very classic, let's say.
Yeah, that is interesting. That probably does bring, even if it's quite subtle, kind of like, well, just a different element to a folk rock band, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can assure you that Bojockey is the first folk rock project I've ever played in. So it's been very interesting to kind of like try to figure out how to bring like a different approach to the drums I'm used to do in the sense that I've been playing in very different bands from like playing metal, like very heavy metal, death metal, all that stuff, playing ska as well, funk music, and definitely Bojockey is like the lightest I've played, and I think that has been a challenge in some ways, but also a blessing, I think, because like you just explore your instrument differently and you try to reach like something different, and emotionally, like the instrument takes another dimension.
It's definitely interesting. Well, I suppose maybe a better way of putting it is, as you kind of came together as a five piece, what are some of the other influences that you might have that you kind of bonded over, or kind of maybe inspired you to form a band anyway?
That's kind of hard. I think we all come from very different places, especially musically. I think there's very few like similar artists and genres I think we're into. So I think our WhatsApp message when we kind of people be like, oh, check out this record. The rest of us are just like, nah, mate, we're good. Like, so it's been quite nice. I mean, I think with the kind of sound that we kind of make as a five, I think a lot of it is very like Big Thief gets into that kind of those guys get put into the mix. A lot of people like Wilco, that kind of sort of, I guess it's kind of called like alt folk or whatever you want to call it or label it as. That kind of they're like probably two of our big points that we kind of, or I bang into people a lot, probably too much.
But I think it's nice that we all have different, like for a while we were doing Spotify playlists of everyone popping like 5 of their current like songs on rotation in there, and they were all so different. And you could also see then when we come together as a band where all of that comes from. Like everyone has different things that they look for in a track. Like for myself, the thing I love most is harmonizing. I love to sing harmonies. So when I'm listening to music, I don't care so much what the genre is. I'm listening to see what they're doing vocally. And are there harmonies? Are there layers? What's the, like, how have they done it? What's the production sound like? That's where I'm looking. So I think, like, and that goes, I could, without seeing who'd added the songs, I could tell you which tracks Remy had added. I could tell you which tracks Sam had added. And same with Alex, and the same with Dustin. Just like easy, I could tell you what they'd selected just by the style that it was, because everyone has something. But I think that's why it's fun to play together. For me, anyway. You just, there are things I wouldn't listen to. And Sam says, people share music in the group chat. And I listen, and sometimes I think, I will not listen again. Thank you. But other times I think, yeah, I'd have never picked to listen to this. But yeah, I like that. And I think that's the beauty, right? Like, if it just keeps it interesting. It keeps it fresh.
I think that's part of the fun of being in a band is that you always get pulled in directions that you wouldn't if it was just an individual making the music. And I think that eclectic taste definitely helps. So when, talk to me about kind of the origins of Bojockey then, and kind of how you started making music together.
Oh, I guess I'll take this one then, shall I, guys? Okay, fine.
Maybe.
So Bojockey kind of properly started about 3-4 years ago now, I guess. I'd kind of after lockdown, I'd kind of written a lot of stuff, and then not that it's a lockdown project, pulling it out of that, it ain't that. I'd kind of written this EP, and it kind of got to that point where I was like, I want to bring people in on this, and then so I bought Hells and Dustin, who plays guitar, and then after like I don't know, a couple of months of recording that EP with you guys, I kind of hit the wall with it. I went, nah, fuck this, get it out, and then I think we kind of hadn't even had a rehearsal at that point. So we kind of pulled ourselves into the room in the Gun Factory studios in East, and we kind of just started playing some new stuff. And after 2 months of doing that every week, we kind of got to the point of going into the studio and making the record, which was kind of like really quick. And we'd like, it was like 2 months of being in a band. I think we'd done 2 gigs and we'd had one rehearsal as a 5-piece. So it was like, and Alex and Remy, I knew from, I produced their band, their old band Floral Shop. And so I pulled them in because, I mean, they're both just, they're all fantastic. I got very lucky when really. So yeah, it was quite a quick turnaround, but we got a record from it.
Well, I think what was quite cool is like just the fact as well for us that like he did definitely came in really quickly, like joining the band to ending up in the studio together. And I think it doesn't show as much maybe and on the recording in the sense that like what's cool is like most of it is done live as well, like the first take on it, and that kind of like helped as well giving the fundamentals of the band together for the gigs, I suppose, after that. And suddenly while we're there, like, okay, well, we got the record done now, so let's properly start like building this band, I suppose.
That was the thing as well, because we did the record in 2 days. So we recorded it Saturday and Sunday, and then like I kind of took it home, and then I think we did like a couple of overdubs with like just some extra harmonies and stuff, as Hells was saying earlier. Like, and we had like a saxophone player come down, and so the kind of the core of the record was done really quickly. I think that was kind of what it had to be in a way, because it was kind of just like we just want to get in and go and just see what we can get in the room, because it was like we didn't really want to faff around with it. I think.
No. Well, it sounds like you probably benefited from that early energy of it being so early on in the kind of project, and kind of you were just doing it, and then suddenly you were in the studio, and yeah, that came across. And was there? Did you have kind of a musical ethos that you kind of were working towards when you were like, okay, we're a band and we want to be this type of band, or was it just a bit more organic and it came out of what maybe songs you had and what songs were developed as the group?
I think it was organic.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
just kind
definitely.
of happened as it went along, for me anyway.
Definitely.
I think what's
Yeah.
quite good about having someone spearheading the project is like also you have a direction, and that definitely helped in the sense that for me, I never had really questions. It's more like just playing what I thought was right, and then Sam tell me, "Nah, mate, not that one. I'm afraid." But all in good faith is always to serve the track and always to serve the music as well. It's just like I suppose not just as drummers, but sometimes as musicians, like a lot of people say less is more. And I think it applies especially to folk music.
I think that was kind of always the go, and it was always just serve the song. And like I think the other thing as well is like it was the enjoyment we got from the playing. I think that was the real special thing, because like I think I'd been in bands for years before and played in projects, but I've never, like, especially when we play live and we're all together, it's a 5-piece. Like I've never enjoyed a band more than anything. This is the one for me. Like I think that kind of made it so much better, because it's fun, which sounds so simple, but like it's like we actually just do have a laugh when we play, and it kind of that kind of comes across, I guess, because normally we're all making pretty goofy fucking faces at each other.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was just going to say, there's a video from our album launch gig where I'm just grinning like the Cheshire Cat at the side of the stage, just literally like, I get to do this pretty much every week. I get to play fun songs with my friends. But it's true, like it's good fun. I'd never been in a band really before. I've been in bands. I did a music degree, so I was like in bands there, but nothing properly. So for me, this is my first experience. And yeah, I've never had so much enjoyment or fulfillment from a like a music project before, like I do like this. And I never played bass before I joined this band, and that
Yeah, that's so true as well.
is it is the most fun I've ever had doing anything. And I like, yeah, this is it for me. I'm a happy gal.
Me and Dustin low-key bullied Hells into learning bass, and she's done it and taken to it so well. It's just so sick.
I'd always been interested in bass and wanted to have a go. I played a little bit at university, but not really took it properly. Learned a couple of learned Fleetwood Mac song or two on bass, and then it was Sam got me into singing harmonies first, and then was like, "Yo, Hells, do you have a bass?" And I was like, "My boyfriend has a bass." And he was like, "Can I play bass?" And I was like, "Just give me a minute." Had to call Dustin, our guitarist. "Hey, bro, can I play bass?" And he was like, "Yeah, Hells, you can play." I was like, "Sick." I was like, "Sam, yeah, I'll do it, babe. I'm in." But yeah, it's just good crack. Like I also enjoy. I've never had to play so tightly to a drummer before and think about the rhythm and think about timing, because I myself am like a folk guitarist. Timing, what is it? So in here I'm like, I actually have to play in time, and so yeah, I absolutely love it. It's like the camaraderie of it. It's great.
And I think that's always really lovely to see if you watch a band and you can see that they're having fun and enjoying it. For me, I think, yeah, obviously there's some bands who pull off the quite cool rock star look, and that can be a thing as well. But I also quite love when they're just really enjoying it and kind of, yeah, vibing off their bandmates as well on stage.
And vice versa as well, like seeing people enjoy the music is quite important, I think, on the other side, because playing in different bands and stuff like this, you always have like people like really dancing or really like for example in metal throwing themselves at each other, like and and here suddenly it's kind of a bit of a different vibe, in the sense that you have people coming at the end and say, "Oh man, I've cried for the most part of the set." And for me that was a first. Like I've never had anybody coming to me and saying, "Wow, this brought tears and this like made me feel a certain way." And I was like, wow, if the music is like touching in those emotions, that means like there's definitely like something that works. And I did really enjoy that. I mean, I'm not making people cry, obviously. Maybe it's my but yeah, like just
to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just seeing another side of the music, I think.
And you could have a mosh pit at a folk gig. Never say never. I don't know.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
We did a show last year. Oh yeah, it was the St. Pancras one, and it was all seated. And like honestly, a part of me just wanted to be like, "Get up, come on!" Like you can't sit down. Like it drives me insane. Like if anyone started a mosh pit at our gigs, I'd get free totes for life. I promise. That would be you can have whatever. Just take what you want from us. It's yours.
Well, we went to a Bojockey gig. They're a great band, and a mosh pit of sorts kind of happened, and then their guitarist just put his guitar down and hopped off the stage and joined in, and I was like, "This is an out of body folk experience." It was so good. It was so good. So they do happen. It can happen. There's still hope for us, Sam. There's still hope.
Oh yeah, definitely in the future. So I suppose now, yeah, you mentioned before we started recording that you're going to start recording a new record. Is the songwriting still the same as it was earlier days? Kind of yourself, Sam, bringing some of the songs and then building around that, or is it a more of a collective approach now you're a few years down the line?
I think it's probably the same kind of the kind of same method in a way, but I think one of the things that we've kind of had to really learn to do over the last year, especially since that first record, like, because as I was saying, like, we weren't gigging, we weren't really rehearsing regularly. I think the last year and a half has kind of just been spent kind of learning how to just be a band and function as a unit, and kind of like learn how to, like, as Hells was saying, everyone coming in with their ideas and bringing things to an arrangement that, like, we might not have had if it was just me bringing in a song. And so, like, it's been a really nice progression of, like, because I think the music's definitely got bigger for it and it feels more like a band than I think the first record ever did. And so, yeah, I think that the process has slightly changed, but I think it's like, it's definitely become, we feel more like a unit now than I think we did back then.
Yeah, I think we all know where we slot in now. Like Sam brings songs to us pretty much on a weekly basis. Who's so prolific, it's insane. I can't keep up. No, but he brings songs to us, and then everyone knows immediately, really, where to sit and where to find their space. And I think there are times when it's like, oh, this doesn't need bass, or this needs some like a harmonium instead, or this need, everyone just kind of knows, and it's a bit more unspoken, I think, than it was with the first record where we were really figuring it out. And the songs come together quicker. There are some songs that take time. I think some just depends how the song is, Some of them take more work than others. Some of them are almost fully formed immediately. And so I do think, yeah, definitely over the years we've just found where we sit sonically and everything, And it's an enjoyable experience as it's gone on.
Till I tell Remy to play less, then he
exactly. Flip the drums.
then it ends up in just like a full-on brawl. Yeah.
It's part of the process, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Can we expect the new record this year, do you think? Or
I mean, it depends. We'll see how we go. I think we're gonna. We kind of liked what we did with the first record, and we liked how quick it was. And I think we're definitely going to keep in the same kind of approach with the production, with the recording it live. That we're going to even probably go back to the same studio and do it in the same room as we did the first one. So I mean, we'd like to get it out by the end of this year, but I don't think we're in a space where we really want to rush it either. Like we've got this year's, like, we've got a couple of really nice shows coming towards the end of the year, and so we're kind of like, if we can get a couple of singles out before those and kind of pace it out, then I think we're gonna see what's kind of best at the time. But I hope we'll have it finished by this year. We'll just see how long we sit on it. Definitely.
These things take time, and it was Willesden you recorded, was it?
Yeah, so it was Dollis Hill in 360. So I lived in Willesden Green, which was just literally, my flat was a 10-minute walk down the road. So it was kind of nice commute.
Lovely. So let's hear a bit more music. So we heard a snippet of Maker Made earlier from your recent live album at St. Pancras Old Church. So let's listen to a bit of Magpie now from the same gig, and then we'll chat all about that afterwards.
Up this steady hill, oh, you'll be disappointed you weren't there when I tried. 'Cause all my love is a spinning wheel, and it will be till the day I choose tonight.
Lovely. So this is the section of the podcast where we talk less about the fun of creating the music and maybe more about the marketing and actually getting music into people's ears, which is also important. So your recent live album from St. Pancras Old Church, that came out earlier this year, and it's really wonderful. I'd recommend everyone to listen to that. So how did that come about? Was it always going to be a live album, or did you just have the gig and then think, we'll record? Yeah.
Well, I think we played there 2 years ago. We supported Ella Clayton, which was like it was probably like our first like proper show as a band. I think like it was the first one that kind of made us go, oh, that's a really pretty room, like, that really hit us. And we knew from that gig that they were going to record the set, because we have like a video on YouTube from that show and stuff. And so when we got offered this one, like, I just think it meant a lot to us. And so to get the chance to get it recorded, even if it came back and it was absolutely terrible, it was like, we have that recording, and like, we got them back, and like, we were okay. The ones that are on the album is like, not, I think there's like 5 other songs that we didn't put in because we screwed them. But like, so we kind of just like, we had these songs, and we kind of went through a very diplomatic polling system on WhatsApp, where we all kind of decided what songs were going to be on the record. And it was really nice. I think for us, it was kind of just to kind of encapsulate that evening for us was just really important to do. And like, to put it on Spotify and stuff was fine, but like, for us, it was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's also the
definitely.
process of having like really good friends working with us, like Meg and Dad, and like
Mm.
having some crew with us that's really making feel a little bit more homely as well.
Nice. And you've gigged quite a lot, it seems, in the past kind of 12 months. How have you, yeah, how do you approach kind of getting gigs and also, I suppose, getting on bills where it's with like minded musicians or kind of acts that you think, oh, yeah, people who like us might like XXX, for example?
You book the gigs, my guy.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I was
You're the
like,
one
does someone
saying.
else want to say something? Yeah. So with that, I think we've been really lucky, to be honest. Like, we've managed to like the amount of promoters that we've worked with who've like asked us to come back and like had these kind of rolling relationships with bands and promoters. Uh, you know, like especially like people like Sound Sniffer who did the St Pancras show, Kevin there, and Sam from Bark, and like the Cav when Socks used to run the Cav, and I think there was a running joke that we were in their in-house band for quite a while because he just booked us. I think there was like over like an 8 month period we played that like 6 or 7 times, and it was just like, man, that's we're not selling any more tickets, mate. Like no one's coming to. And um, so like we've been really blessed by I think the people who are like just in the kind of around London and the scene who've kind of like helped us like kind of I think a big part of it is just kind of you make mates and you meet people and you kind of get to connect with these people, and then they're like, oh, come and play a show with us, or we'll come and play a show with us. We kind of scratch each other's back. It's like Neve, who we're playing with on Friday. Like we did like 4 shows back to back with her last year, and like we just keep doing these shows with each other, and it's like it's been lovely. It's like
It's a proper community, and it is true. We've been very lucky. Like promoters have been very good to us, and it feels a little bit like they've taken us under their wing. And like playing headline in St Pancras felt like a treat. But Kevin's just been good to us. So there have been so many people like that I'm very grateful to. We've played some cool shows at some great venues, and it is, yeah, you're right. We've been lucky.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, especially like having the experience of like different setups and stuff. There's a lot of tricky places in London and tricky promoters. I mean, it's just yeah. I think like the luck factor is definitely part of it, and the people we've met throughout have definitely made the experience worth our while as well, and that makes us want to do more and better in general.
I think one of the things that kind of helped us the most as well was at the very start. We were helped out by Giles and Eva, who were kind of like they. So Giles runs a podcast called 101 Part Time Jobs, and he literally like heard our demo on Twitter and like played it on his radio show on Soho. Came down to the first gig, which was just me and Hells, and then he came up to us after the show and was just like, "We want to start a label. We want to release your record. Let's do it." And like that was, and like those guys, they took us under their wing massively, and just like they put us in front of people, they booked us gigs for a bit, and they just really helped us to kind of get the ball rolling with the project, and just so we could kind of find our feet with how being in a band and booking shows and trying to make it consistent and go work. Yeah, they've been amazing for us.
It's just great to have like just people that you can trust, a listening ear at times, and when you have questions. And they've both been so good. And I think Eva bought like 100 fake candles for our first single release show at Servant Jazz Quarters, and we just covered the whole room in these little candles. Eva made us. I have them right here. This is a Bojockey horse. I don't know if you could see him smoking. He's a little felt pin, and he might be. Oh, that's what you get. He might potentially be smoking a doob. It's hard to know.
But yeah, and you would make that at the gig. Like Eva would like set up like a table, and people could like make their own as well with like a watchful eye on top of it. Yeah, they really were.
It was a great gig. She also the same show she did a horse drawing competition, and she brought this massive
Oh my gosh.
A4 file and got everyone to draw horses. And then they gave it to. I found it like a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at some of those horses are horrific.
Yeah,
they're so
bad.
scary.
Yeah,
they're quite hard animals to draw.
Yeah, they are. Like some people really struggled, and I can't imagine. I mean, yeah, they're hard, but some of those horses were just demented. Like they're not good looking horses. They're horrible. But yeah, I don't know who won it. So
It was my friend Leah. It was my friend Leah. She won it.
Shout out to Leah.
She was very chuffed.
The best horse out of a bad bunch from the
Absolutely.
No. They were all equally brilliant. We were really grateful for all the people who came.
Yeah, I didn't see your horse then.
Yeah, I didn't draw a horse. I just told everyone else to draw horses.
Well, you've got a brand, you know.
Well, yeah. There's just a lot of horse things going around at the moment. We need to try and stay away from horses. I think we have been. It's kind of horses are a little bit. I think they were in. I think horses have had their day. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the deal with horses are anymore. I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of us are that obsessed with horses. It just says jockey, doesn't it? So we kind of leaped on it.
Yeah, you're the riders, not the horse. I mean, I've been listening to Horse Girl, their new record.
Horse Girl, yeah.
Can't think of many other horse references, but
Horse Funeral,
yeah.
Brown
Horse
Horse.
Funeral, Brown Horse. Are these all bands?
They're all bands.
Oh, Band of Horses, of course, the original.
Yeah. That's a really good one. Sparkle Horse. That's probably a pretty big one. Yeah.
Obviously, listeners to the podcast, please do send in your horse bands. newsoundsunion@gmail.com. I don't know what we'll do with that information, but make a playlist maybe. Who knows?
Oh, yes. There you go. Horse Jumper of Love. Someone suggested them to me the other day. I don't know those guys. No? Great name, isn't it? So good.
Well, on this, kind of, the horse branding, for lack of a better term, there is, if you look at your socials, there is kind of a clear cohesion, and your album covers as well, and your merchandise, everything kind of ties together. So you were talking a little about this before, but how's that developed, and who's the band's art director essentially?
Well, we're blessed because we have our wonderful friend Meg, who does amazing. All of our stuff. She's kind of like the sixth member of the band. I think it's probably like she's done enough for us, like to not. I don't know. I mean, she's done. So like from day one, she was always kind of there, just being like, I'll do your artwork, I'll do your font, and like it's kind of. I mean, I guess we've kind of probably taken the piss a little bit because now we got her doing like batch totes, she's doing t-shirts, she's doing videos for us, and like she's been amazing. And so like Meg's been like, so she's got a studio in Brixton where she prints all the totes. She filmed
the whole St. Pancras gig as well.
She did.
Yeah,
so she takes charge of everything, kind of art wise for us, and everything you see on the socials is probably done by Meg, which is as Remy was saying earlier as well, like the kind of closeness and the community side of that, like it's been because Meg's become like, I've known Meg for years, but like everyone's kind of got to know Meg, and we've all kind of become this group, and she's insane.
She's amazing. I mean, we played a gig last month at the Old Blue Last, and she was just there, come to see us, and she was like, they have a projector. You want to put Bojockey on the back of the stage as you play? She's like, I got my laptop, I got all the designs. And you're like, yes, please. Like, thank you for being you. Just awesome and creative and organised and armed with all of our designs at all times. So is her handle, is she Future Meg? She is. So if any listeners need someone to do some design, Future Meg, she's your gal.
So I'll be wearing that around North London very soon. But I think it does make a difference when you look at a band, and sometimes it can be kind of, what they're wearing, not that they'll be wearing like a costume or something, but they kind of just, they look like a band, they look like a collective. And I think it's the little things like you've been mentioning, the candles at the live gigs, it all pulls it together, and it's like, oh, Bojockey, that's kind of this, it sits in this world. And I think that is, we live in a great age, there's so much great music being made, but there's also just overwhelmingly too much music to listen to. So I think having those cues, whether that's like visual or design, it can help to be like, oh yeah, I'll give these guys a go because I like that album artwork, for example. Yeah,
I think that's the thing with social media as well, isn't it? You kind of you got to get people's attention pretty quick because none of us have attention spans anymore. And so you got, yeah, I think it's kind of also one of the massive challenges, isn't it? Because like I think social media is such a tough thing to stay on top of, and you see these people who are like, oh, sorry, my chair keeps going backwards and I keep like falling behind. But like you see these people who are like, they've got the kind of confidence to go and stand at a train station and do a dance or whatever and like promote a single, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't think any of us would want to do that. And so it's kind of, it's a game, it's definitely a game you've got to try and play, and that's why we're lucky to have Meg because she does it for us. Yeah, she makes us look at worth looking at, which is good.
In general, because you have to create the music, you have to think about like the environment, you have to think about like how to promote yourself. It's like seven jobs in one to some extent. And sometimes people have strength in some areas that others don't. And obviously being a band kind of helps with that, but turns out with us like having an exterior pair of hands and a brain as well, like Meg, is definitely like the game changer, because that kind of like relieves us a little bit sometimes of all the, let's say, more crafty ideas that like sometimes you think, oh, this is such a good idea, like let's do this, and then suddenly you're like, oh, actually, like looking back at it, you're like, maybe could have done something better with it, or like that was just didn't work out. Well, like having the continuity with one person that is also in the arts and has like the means and the gears also to do it, I suppose. Like it's yeah, it's been really really lucky for us.
Yeah. No, dear. Definitely. Sounds great. Looking ahead then, have you got any festivals lined up this summer?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we do we? I mean, we kind of do. Yeah, nothing. I mean, we're doing what we're doing. We're doing one called Camp Wildfire, which will be in, I think it's in September or something. Maybe July, maybe sometime late summer, sometime that time of the year. And that'd be really cool. And then but we haven't actually got anything else in the book. So no, we haven't. What did we do last year? No, I don't think did we do. I don't think we did do any festivals last year. We haven't tapped into those guys yet. We'll get there though.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I suppose at the emerging level, there's a lot of online forms to fill in at the moment for festivals. There's a lot of applications you can do. Yeah. Um, so yeah, in terms of the next record when it does come out over later this year or next, is there anything you do differently in terms of kind of promoting the record or getting it into people's ears?
I think this time, I think a big thing about it for us is also we're kind of gigging regularly now. Like that's the kind of nice thing. So like we can kind of, I think, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead. That's not. I don't feel like that's a question for me, to be honest. Finally.
I think a lot of our friends, a lot of people that have come down to quite a few gigs are really excited by our new songs now. Now, we've been playing our first record for a while and we've put so many new songs into our set and people are so excited about those. And that feels really nice. And it's nice for people to say, that new one, loved that. And it's like, yeah, I think that will help get the next record just more plays just generally, and I think that's because we've actually had the time to play them live this time, and for people to get on board when they're being formed, I think that helps. I think the more that people can hear them, the more excited they'll be to then hear a studio version. I think we were lucky with the traction that we had on the first record, even though it was fresh for everybody because it was like off the back of no gigs, but this, we have people behind us now, and we have people that have come to shows that aren't people that we've known all our lives, and that's exciting. And it's nice for people to come and say, oh, I saw you at this gig and we've come back. Like, that's nice. So hopefully just that and playing more songs and keeping it fresh, keeping the set list fresh, keeping it exciting, will help us kind of push this next record. That's where I'm at for it anyway.
And also step up maybe musically, no? No, no. Also step up musically, I think, for us, in the sense that like even though the first album like was recorded live and all this, some of the things when you think about it we're still like on the simpler side. I don't think we're gonna obviously do prog folk suddenly, even if we had some comments in Brighton from a listener at a gig that was really funny. Just say, "Oh, you guys doing prog folk? It's fun." But overall, like it's just maybe like showing the cohesion of the music, and obviously like those songs are now have been worked on, and so if they make it to the album, that means that like they're ready to be released properly, and for us, I think that's quite exciting because like we do want to propose like a project and like a piece of I want to say like a piece of art ultimately that represents us to some extent. So yeah, a step up.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. I look forward to hearing more. Um, so yeah, this is a podcast for music lovers, but also, yeah, music creators and other artists. So it's a big question. It's a broad question. But if there was kind of one piece of advice that you'd give to another emerging artist who's kind of maybe starting out as a band or an artist, yeah, what would that be? I did say it was a broad question. So.
I, yeah, it is a big one. I feel like my advice would be find your people, find your community, find other people similar to yourself at a similar stage gigging, and yeah, lean into that community and enjoy the support there. I mean, there's so much advice that could be given for that, but I feel like that has helped me personally. To turn up to a gig and to be on another bill with a band that you know and you've played with already that understands, and it's just the like the homely nature of that, I think, is good for the soul when you're slogging for something that you love like that.
I think you're right. You know, there's definitely as many advice as there is as many people out there in the sense that like for me, I think one of the things that helped me the most is probably like just to meet a lot of different people as well, like just being in like several bands, and especially when you're trying out at the beginning to figure out a little bit what you want to do and what you like and how to expand on your like music skills is like to just create with as many people as possible, make mistakes, take learn from them, keep going, and sometimes you find the right people along the way as well. And if you really find great people, and like the Bojockey crew for me, like we're obviously like all friends now. We're not just bandmates. And among them, like one of my best friends is Alex, the keys player. We've played in many projects together, and that kind of like carries us as well in music because we just love working together. And it doesn't matter if we're playing folk, if we're playing prog, or if we just jamming from 3 hours, eating everybody's time during rehearsal. You know, it's just part of it, and it's part of like the creation, I think, and really, really, at first, I think you have to enjoy it. It's like if you go into music and just because you think like it's for fame or for money or for wrong reasons overall, even though you can get there, obviously, and they can be a motivation, like they might become a little bit stale at some point. Well, like if you just get there because you enjoy yourself, well, it's endless, and you just have fun with people you love.
Well, yeah, and I think from what you were saying earlier, you're definitely in a world where it feels like so much is on social, and if you are a musician, you do have to be on the socials, but you're definitely testament and a good example of a band who has built that community, and that's a lot of face-to-face interactions at gigs, and that's kind of grown over time as well. So it's as important as an online presence and social is. I think that face-to-face is still key to a lot of bands.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty crap at social media anyway. That's because I run it. That's my fault. That's on me.
But it's hard work. It's another full-time job, which is, for all of us, we all work, we all have full-time jobs, and the band is a full-time job on top of your full-time jobs, and doing social media is another full-time job on top of that. Like, it is hard to keep up with. You're constantly chasing after something. God bless Sam, because I tell you, it couldn't be me. I couldn't do it. He does such a good job, and yeah, I'm grateful that you run it, Sam, because it is hard work.
I think it's like, I don't know if anyone's a football fan, but they always say about goalkeepers that you've got to be a bit mad to be a goalkeeper, and I kind of feel like that's what it is to do my role in Bojockey. I've got to be a little bit crazy to just get it done.
Oh yeah, you're a safe pair of hands between the goalposts, and musically that makes sense. Lovely. Well, that was all top advice. So thank you very much for that. Lovely. Well, finally, we ask all our guests to recommend a song that they've been enjoying by kind of an emerging artist. So if you could introduce yours, please, that would be lovely.
So our song was "I Put It in the Frame" by Neve. As we've mentioned Neve already on this podcast, like we adore Neve. Like we've played so many shows with her, and like she's like, even before we met her, like she came down to one of our shows in Brighton, which was just really mad. Like she didn't say hi or anything, and then we just ended up supporting her like 2 months later, and she was like, I was at that gig, and so like we've formed like a really special bond with Neve and like her band, and so there wasn't really another choice for us. I don't think it had to be Neve, and plus the song absolutely slaps.
All right, play the song.
I put it in the frame. Is it my pain? Now it's your pain. When did I give away what I made? I put it in the frame. Is it my pain? Now it's your pain. When did I give away what
So yeah, finally, is there anything else you'd like to plug or promote?
We're headlining the Lexington on September 18th, which will be our biggest show yet, and so that's a really special one for us. So we're really excited for that one. So yeah, so come down.
Yeah, no, definitely North London venue. I'll be there. Excellent. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you so very much for having us.
And there we have it. Thank you for listening to New Sounds Union. If you'd like to get in touch about anything we've discussed, we're not going to stop you. You can email newsoundsunion@gmail.com or find us at newsoundsunion.substack.com. This has been a Globio production. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you soon.